everyone to the third episode of Conversations Unveiled, a talk show that aims at educating the youth of our community about topics that interest and affect them. This is Yasmin Kayal, and today I'll be interviewing an inspiring role model who's recognized by the US state as the most courageous woman in the world for her many efforts in breaking the silence and sharing her own battle with breast cancer. Welcome, Dr. Sami Al-Amoudi.
Shukran, Yasmin. Thank you so much. It's my pleasure to be with you, especially in the month of October.
Now, Dr. Sami Al-Amoudi, you are a Saudi Arabian obstetrician and gynecologist, a healthcare activist in women's health, a professor, and a two-time cancer survivor. But your story began on April 2006, when you were first diagnosed with breast cancer. You made the bold decision to write and speak about it, making you the first Saudi woman who went public with her battle with breast cancer. Now, Dr. Al-Amoudi, what encouraged you to break the silence on breast cancer?
The first thing my family, my close friends told me, okay, you've got it now. We should keep quiet. No need that anybody knows that you have cancer. That was shocking, surprising to me. Why? It's not a taboo. It's just a disease like any other disease. The other thing I thought, if nobody talks about it, how are we going to break the barriers? How are we going to give the motivation to other ladies to avoid what I have been through? At that time in 2006, I used to have a column in the newspaper, Al Madina newspaper. I love writing, and this is just beside medicine. I thought I will use my weekly column in getting my story public. There was fear from my uncle, who's like a father to me, that it would be, as you have said, shocking to the society. A female Saudi woman talking about cancer, which is a taboo, and in the breast. But I felt as a Muslim, as a doctor, it was a duty, my responsibility to start talking about something nobody have ever talked. And the first article, I said that my cancer is like a message of love from God. And please don't forget to examine the breast. That was the beginning.
Because of all of your efforts, you've conquered a lot of cultural barriers around the world, especially for Muslim women. Now, moving on to the next topics, you've mentioned in earlier interviews that people have a lot of misconceptions about breast cancer. What are some of those misconceptions?
First of all, the misconceptions were there and still are here as well. Until this week, I gave a lecture at the Faculty of Dentistry in King Abdulaziz University about misconception, because still we do have this. One of the major misconceptions is that people think that cancer patient will die for sure, which is not right. First of all, cancer and death, as Muslim, we know that we say, هي آجال لكل أجل كتاب. Everybody will not die before the time that God put it for him. The other thing that the people also, the misconception is that, when I talk to my patient and ask them to do the mammogram, they will immediately say, no, please, doctora, it's very painful and the mammogram might cause cancer. This is completely wrong. It is painful, but it's not an agony that you cannot tolerate for a few minutes. It's the only way to detect the tumors at a stage where the management and treatment will change the survival rate, and they might reach in the early stages, if they are discovered, 20, 26, 29, or 30 years. The other misconception, when we offer them the biopsy, they believe that biopsy means that once you put the needle, it will spread everywhere in your body. The other misconception, sometimes women refuse to do the mammogram, refuse to know that they have cancer. Why? She will say, if I am diagnosed or people know that I have cancer, nobody will propose to my girls, my daughters, because people think that it is a hereditary disease, which is not the case. 5 to 10% of breast cancer only are hereditary.
So you're confirming that genetics do not play a big part in breast cancer?
Absolutely.
Okay, so your story of survival and empowerment is inspiring to all women around the world, especially Arab women, who may feel that breast cancer is a hard subject to talk about publicly. What would be your message to women who find it hard to talk about breast cancer openly?
I think these are the misconceptions that I've mentioned, and there are other misconceptions. They are the key factors in explaining to them. If you go and talk about it in public, first of all, it's not a taboo. It's not something you should hide from others, like diabetes, it's a disease like any other disease. And especially nowadays with the modern treatment techniques, diagnosis, it's not something you should feel shame of. Number two, this is from God. Why do you hide it? I mean, the more you are accepting what God write for us, this is a rewarding thing. And when they understand that it will not necessarily affect their daughters, it will not necessarily end their life, by this sort of motivation, we encourage them. And I believe that when you go and talk about it, يعني بفضل الله, it's like a window that God or door open it for you to go through and have the ajr. It's reward from God. This is why I take it from the religious perspective, from the medical perspective, from the social perspective. People think I'm not going to talk because people will feel sorry for me. They will feel that they should not contact with me. Maybe it's infectious. All these misconceptions. Once you empower women and the community with the right knowledge, correct knowledge, they will feel the power of knowledge. They will feel the courage. They will be able to share in their management plan. They will share in their decision, which is informed decision that we call. What we are doing, or what I'm focusing on nowadays, is health empowerment and health rights. Once they understand what are their rights, they will be more empowered.
As you said before, the more that people talk about it, the more that women will accept it as a regular disease and not as a death sentence. So your remarkable journey helping so many people, and on the way, you've authored a lot of books that have gathered attention in women's health. But مذكرات امرأة سعودية was especially distinguished. Can you please provide a brief overview and a few key concepts about your book?
Objective of this book, I wanted to put our experience as lessons to the new generation, so they know what was the life of women before. They learn from our good and bad experience. So it's many lectures. I leave it as a documentary for the new generation, so they appreciate as well what was happening and how did we reach to this stage.
As you said before, you've created history for women again and again and again. Thank you so much for all of your efforts. We are seeing the results here in schools. People talk about breast cancer every day, and people are normalizing it. And I think that you've made such a big part and impact on this. Thank you so much for making time to speak here today. It was a real pleasure having you in our show. But before we finish this episode, tell us what piece of advice you would give to young women around the world.
Try to be empowered about your health rights. Health rights, it's not only for cancer patients.
Thank you so much, Dr. Amoudi. You are really inspiring. Your words mean so much to the new generation, to the old generation, to everyone. Thank you so much again. I will not keep you any longer.
Shakira, thank you so much. I appreciate it.